Today we'll be taking a look at a viewer-submitted match of StarCraft 2. Joining me here in the upper left corner, the blue Terran. Landing on the map Gressven, it is Manio. One of those. And his opponent, his Terran enemy, but the hero of our story here in the bottom right, the red Terran larva. A gold TvT, guys. Gold Terrans, get excited. What is in store? Terran players naming themselves after Zerg units. I highly doubt. I cannot confirm 100%, but I highly doubt that this Gold Terran friend here is not the Brood War Pro larva. Just a hunch. Just a guess, but either way, SCV shenanigans already happening. I don't know, maybe larva is random. Because that would at least explain this absurdly early SCV scout, wouldn't it? It is TvT though, Manio knows, and he's going with the good old double gas, but only one worker. Where it's a contaminated zone, where only one worker is allowed in each refinery at a given time. Quick command center on the low ground from larva here. And a reactor. Is that? Yeah, a reactor first. Agreed. Oh my gosh. In a TvT, you madman. SCV chasing the other SCV across the map. Gonna find the Marine. And unfortunately picked off. And then right to the command center. That SCV's feeling victorious. Tech lab. And, I'm sorry, 2 more barracks. What on earth are these gold TvTs like, guys? It's been a while. I haven't... Oh, do we have any other gold viewers? I know we've got a couple silver and a few diamond. I'm not sure, actually, if we have had any gold TvTs specifically here. The good old 3 racks. Into factory. You get those rocks. On the other side, very quick stim for the one Marine that is out on the map. Yes, a little bit of a Terran Republic commando. Into Marauder. Well, we've got a tech lab. We're not allowed to make Marines off of a barracks with a tech lab. No, that would be illegal. We have to instead make a tech lab specific unit, which is Marauders or Ghosts. And let's be real, do we know about Ghosts in gold? Should we make Ghosts in gold? These two answers could be different. On Larva's side of the map though, the TvT moving along swimmingly. The 3 racks into no barracks production build. Those rocks finally destroyed like the menace they are. Their tyranny, their villainy has been brought down. And we are seeing stim now for both players. Did you speed it up, Indigos? Yes, I sped it up. Yes. Yeah. We know what's happening. It's all here. It's all here on screen. So far, things are shaping up to be at least an interesting TvT. We have the first NG Bay combat shields on the way. Barracks production still a little lacking from our 3 barracks over here. Although the 2 racks over here, only mildly better. My question, of course, and I believe the question on all of your minds as well, is who gets to battle cruisers first? Because we all know, Metal League Terrans, the lower you go, the quicker the road. Yes, all roads. You know, you can just walk. Like, there, nobody really had map control, but at the very least, nobody had the risk No, instead we're going to fly the 2 medevacs into probably the most effective sensor tower I may have ever seen. Like really? You could get accused of hacking for this sensor tower, Larva. You built a sensor tower as the opponent he's gunning for it. He's going, okay. Well, sensor tower and missile turret. That's a lot of damage. Larva a little slow on the reaction time, unfortunately, though. This is 2 tank drop and pretty much nothing else. Which means it's going to go completely as expected. Larva, impeccable defense, I mean. You know, sensor towers, they don't get as much credit, I think, as they deserve, because they really can do quite well. It's like, what, 100 minerals? Is it 100 mineral investment? 100 gas investment, maybe? For essentially free scouting, vision. I'll put it in quotes, because you can't see through the fog of war, but you know something's there. You're allowed... Oh, I love it. This is another thing I see quite often. The players, they will never go over the red, into the red for the workers. Exactly 16. Over here, these other ones are long distance mining. Guys, if you're doing this, if you are somebody who does this, it's okay to go over 16 in the mineral line. It's okay, it's better than the long distance mining. You can go all the way up to 24, I think is the max, but we could roughly say 20. As long as you are not pushing too high into the 20s, it's actually better to just go into the red instead of long distance. Where's that NG Bay? I've said it before, high-sec auto-tracking. He did get +1 weapons first, though. Can't be too rude. I got 1 upgrade Indigos. I'm allowed to get high-sec auto-tracking. Moving out on the map, 112 supply is the magic number for the hero of this story here, and a triple factory follow-up. Well, that is a very bad time to double expand Terrans. You can build your command centers within your own bases and then float them over. Very nice. Scan. You gonna let him get away with that? Where's the counter? Scan. Come on. You can't just let him scan you. For shame. The unanswered scan goes. That's how we know how this game's gonna go. Because Mr. Manio here has not yet learned the intricacies of the scan wars. 2-2 on the way for Mr. Larva. NG Bay, it finished high-sec auto-tracking, which was of course the most important upgrade for any Terran worth their weight in gold. Larva stumbles onto the unsuspecting command center, falling victim to its damage, stemming the entire army to chase 1 SCV. Not the usual pick, but I'll allow it. I'm okay with it. I might do it too if I'm feeling excited and adrenaline's pumping, right? Behind this third base, saturated siege tank sensor tower defense looking great. 2-2. Roughly halfway done, though. Where are your siege tanks? You only have 3 tanks. Are they all at home? They're all at home. Oh, dear. He did bring the Vikings with him, though. Which should be very helpful for getting rid of the command center. Also supply blocking the blue Terran here, who so far has been unfazed in the loss of these command centers. You know, any base outside of the natural was a risk anyways. We're not comfortable with risks. We're very risk averse. Risk management is at an all-time priority for the blue Terran here, who says, that base, dead to me. Who needs it? Vikings. Oh yeah, you could get the jump on those. The answer here, maybe somebody's curious. If you're the blue Terran, what you do is you make your command center in a safe spot, you know, in your base, float it over, and you start inching these siege tanks out. Probably want to take this base, if I had to guess. Inch your tanks out this way, secure that base. If you're the red Terran here, though, I would say definitely some siege tanks up here. Give it a threat. You want a couple Ravens or Liberators to break the blue Terran's tank line here. What does the blue Terran even have? It's a lot of Marines and a lot of siege tanks. 8 tanks pretty much all clustered into here. No minor threat. Oh, moving forward, gets a Viking, gets almost... Just walk the siege tanks in. And then getting on top of the siege tank, that is way too many tanks. Larva, what are you doing? Just throwing away the bio army. Well, Byun does it. Why can't I do it? Of course. Siege tank going to be destroyed. Larva's army has been repelled, getting a little too ambitious, a little too greedy going for that tank line. You don't need to break your opponent. You know your opponent's on 2 bases. You've taken 4. Just get your economy going, get your production, maybe a few add-ons for these buildings. Go up to battle cruisers and call it a day. But instead, the greed showing itself, the ambition, and now Manio is the one on the offensive here. The blue Terran creeping upwards with the very injured siege tank. Gonna start to threaten the workers here. Defensive tank in position to help, but not quite strong enough. Marines trickling in, siege tanks coming out 3 at a time to a very unfortunate battlefield. The orbital command not going to be lifted. SCVs committed to their work to the bitter end. And now it is Larva here on the back foot. The siege tank, it's trapped. No. Manio gonna help him out with that problem though. Says, oh, I see your siege tank is trapped. Let me help you. I can help relieve you of that burden. He does get 2 tanks out of there. He saves 2 tanks, and now what do? You have to stabilize, get your siege tanks up. Ideally, not quite in range of Manio's active tanks here. Reinforcements trickling across the map here. Marauders losing their sense of purpose. What are we doing? I don't know, checking the weather probably. Is it okay for me to be out in this? My suit, it's made of metal. What if it starts to rust? You have to drop. You have to hit drop. You have to actually unload. He is gonna clean up the siege tanks though. The medevacs. The medevac's just sitting over top of the siege tanks. My gosh. Alright. Manio crushing 2 bases. Both players knocked down to a relative 2-base economy here. There is no base up here. As he has confirmed, as he has found out. This is now our forward staging ground where we will operate from. How are the upgrades? Poor thing's gathering dust. Better than a vacuum cleaner. Oh, I see. We're getting vehicle armor for all these medevacs, right? There's a fair amount of Vikings. 10 Vikings, actually. It's pretty good. Larva not quite focused on the Viking count. Instead, trying to replenish siege tanks, Marines, and Marauders. Respectable choice. Marauders not entirely necessary for this battle, though. Marauders are something you'd want to go into if you're fighting a traditional mech army in TvT. If you see they're going for a lot of siege tanks, a lot of Thors, even. Marauders are an option. They're on the board. But even then, the standard TvT is pretty well figured out, guys. Where are we going? Wait, I forgot something at home. Oh, we'll all go back and help you. Ah, it was the Vikings. Vikings gonna land, take out a siege tank, and then lift off into utter peril. Stimming forward, he gets the Vikings. Triple armory. Okay, and I know I saw it. Where'd it go? In case any of you were betting money on the blue Terran reaching battle cruisers first, you're not quite there, because he hasn't made any, but you're almost there. He got the fusion core. And he's getting Yamato cannon. Still making Vikings and Thors, though. Interestingly, not sure why we're getting Thors. Army supply slightly in favor of the red Terran here, who looks like he's going to have the opportunity to take out this base, unless... Oh, the anti-armor missiles. Siege tank support here. Where are the siege tanks for blue? Non-existent. Oh, he gets on top of the army. Those upgrades showing their superiority. Red Terran gonna win the battle wholeheartedly. Siege tanks. They've done their job. They're moving forward. Red Terran pushing into the base. 2 Thors. We've seen the movies. Thors should be able to win any battle, yes. Unfortunately, StarCraft games don't quite work like the movies. Command center annihilated, evaporated, and SCV is going to move in the opposite direction. Perhaps a ruse, an attempt to try and shake Larva's direction, his focus here. Siege tank is in range of the command center. What do? Do you lift? Love, loss, lift, liberators, any of the above. No. Nope, not even going to repair it. There is the command center down here, though. Not too sure that Larva knows about it. Yamato cannon finishing up here. No battle cruisers still, though. Production shifted back into Marine. Hey! You guys can't see it. Liberator range. Liberator range in production for the blue Terran. Unfortunately, though, time is not on his side. These siege tanks are pressuring the base. The Ravens coming forward. Interference matrix. It's go time, boys. Larva pulling his army forward, getting on top of the Thors. Evaporated, vanquished, annihilated. The game is his. GG. W. Left bracket. P. He waits for the return GG. And Larva gonna take the game. Very entertaining TvT, actually. A little bit of a back and forth. I expected it to be just a simple Larva got across the map and contained, but no. Getting a little greedy, losing his footing, almost losing the game in the process. Luckily, though, nobody remembers what liberators are. So, you know. Siege tanks, Marines, Marauders gonna win the day. If you enjoyed, be sure to let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope you have a great day.